And welcome to another Reghi and Roda podcast powered by MGM Northfield Park right here on the Press Play Podcast Network. Shout out to our producer extraordinaire, jack of all trades, master of many, Chase Smith, who's producing this tonight after the Browns beat the Steelers 29-17. So thank you, Chase, for making sure everybody out there listening in the podcatosphere gets us loud and clear tonight, Michael Reghi. And to me, I know it was only game number 3, Michael, but this was a must-win for the Cleveland Browns coming on the heels of that embarrassing debacle collapse to the New York Jets last week. I felt they had to beat a very poor Pittsburgh Steelers team who struggle on offense, were missing their top defensive player, and it was a home game. So they went out, and it wasn't pretty, but they took care of business. They get the win 29-17, improved to 2-1 with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, and now have 10 days to try and figure things out that aren't at, the peak performance, I would say.
Well, Kenny, without question to all of that, and you know my refrain every week. I'm sure you probably get tired of it. Hey, man, there's only 17 of these.
Right.
Only 17 of them. So as we discussed on Sunday, you cannot afford to continue L's, especially at home. Kenny, can you imagine an L tonight? Now you're 0-2 at home with a division loss at home. So listen, that's not part of the equation now. A win is a win. You got 10 days now to correct the things that ail you. But you're right. There were enough good things tonight. And bottom line for me, Ken, it showed me something about, the inner resolve, if you will, of this football team that was able to put, and Kenny, we're only talking about 96 hours ago that just outrageous debacle happened when you lose a football game that you never should have come close to losing. So I hope the Browns, showed a little bit about what their toughness is about as we go forward here.
What did you think of Kevin Stefanski's play calling in this one tonight, Michael, from start to finish?
Well, I tweeted out a few things, Kenny, and of course, the big one was, I criticized him quite a bit on the Twitter tonight.
Yep.
So I had to I said, listen, I've criticized him. I'm going to give the man kudos when, on 3rd and a yard, he went play action with the play fake to Chubb and then had Amari Cooper running free in the middle of the Steelers secondary to hit that big play. And I thought that was the one that really turned everything in the Browns' favor, Kenny, in terms of let them feel good about things because, and Jacoby Brissett played well tonight, throw the football well. Kenny, I still, as I told you Sunday, I got to see when, maybe the Browns are going to say, well, maybe we won't be behind in the fourth quarter. Right. But I got to see when they're down 7 in the fourth quarter and maybe on the road, with 10 minutes left. Does Brissett have all necessary to put a drive together then to, tie a football game up, give them a lead, fourth quarter on the road? You know the deal. You know the deal that all the quarterbacks are faced with. So, that can be tabled for yet again. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We'll see if he's able to pass that test when it happens. But for right now, Kenny, 2-1 and a division win. And again, you got 10 days now, so you take it and feel good with it. And hopefully it's, again, a part of building something. Be nice to win now a couple, 3, 4 in a row if you're the Browns.
Michael, the way I look at this, I was upset with his early play calling, right?
Yes.
3rd and 1. You've got the best running back, I think, in the National Football League.
You're throwing the football, right?
You're throwing the football. Just give him the ball, pick up the yard, and the drive continues. Okay, now they'll say, well, we did that late in the game, and we didn't pick up the first down. They marked it short. Well, it's questionable. I don't know how they were able to see that, and mark it short and force the Browns to punt there. But still, I'll take my chances. No offense to Jacoby Brissett, but give the ball. If I need a yard, I'm either giving it to Chubb on the ground or I'm using Brissett as they did a number of times, quarterback sneaking, as opposed to dropping back, taking a chance for a sack, or an interception. What was Woody Hayes' old thing? When you throw the ball, 3 things can happen and two of them are bad, right?
Yeah,
so, in that situation, when it's a yard and you have one of the best running games, they ran for, 171 tonight after 187 last week. Just run the ball with either Brissett on a QB keep, Hunt or Chubb, I don't care who it is, and pick up the first down and keep the drive alive. I get it. He needs to throw the football, Brissett, and keep them off balance. And you want to try and throw for 250 and run for over 100. So you're a balanced offense. I get that. I do. But in those situations, just do what you do best. Rely on your offensive line that had Jack Conklin back at right tackle. So you were healthy. You were whole. Run the damn football there. Other than that, though, Michael, I thought later in the game, like you said, the big pass play, that was key. I thought he did a nice job mixing things up. The quarterback keepers, I thought were timely and for first downs. Was it a great offensive performance? No, it wasn't a great offensive performance. They did not hit, what they come up, just shy of 400 yards for me. 400's the key, Michael. That's what I want to see. Maybe 225 in the air, 225 on the ground, or 250 and 150 on the ground, something like that. But overall, coming off the loss, a short week, I thought the offense did enough to win this game. Defensively, the Steelers' offense sucks. And that I'm being kind when I say that. Their offensive line is very questionable. They can't run the ball. Trubisky's a backup quarterback starting in a league. And for the Steelers, because Ben Roethlisberger retired, they were losing at halftime 14-13. At one point, they took the lead 16-14. And that's when the defense made some plays, Michael. I remember tweeting out, all right, the first 2 games, they led late in the second half and gave up the lead both times. When they led by 9, I think it was, over Baker Mayfield and company. So what was it? 13 over the Jets, and now 9 again this week.
Yeah.
And they made plays on defense when it mattered this week. So maybe that closed door meeting with just the players only paid dividends tonight as they were able to make plays in the second half. You almost had the 1 interception in the end zone, but Emerson steps out. And then on the lateral stuff at the end of the game, you get the fumble return for a touchdown. So I thought the defense was better tonight, still not where they need to be when they start playing the tougher teams on their schedule.
No, I'm with you on that. And the same thing I'll just say, same thing that I virtually said about the offense. I want to see, we have football games, Kenny, where the Browns have a 3, 4, 6, 7-point lead, right? In fourth quarters as this season goes along. Are you going to get stops there? Again, you cannot, allow teams to and the Browns were the ones that did that tonight on 2 drives. But, Kenny, I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence. I can see this defense allowing those 10, 11, 12 play, 6, 7-minute drives by the opposition offense that results in touchdowns, points on the board that, turn a lead into now a deficit in the fourth quarter. Again, and this is all about, we're going to find out. So, we know that there's not going to be any firings, I don't think. How
about Mike Prefer? Can we fire the special teams coach after getting a punt blocked and almost losing another onside kick late in the game?
I'm not sure what's going on there, but Kevin Stefanski, again, you're all to the same thing. You're ultimately responsible for that head football coach, right? Listen, you got to make sure your assistant coaches, D coordinator, O coordinator, special teams coordinator, and position coaches, everybody's got to get some things cleaned up, Kenny, because again, it's great. It should be 3-0. All right, take 2-1. You got the 10 days, but there are things, again, parts of this football team I don't have a lot of confidence in right now. You?
No, I still have more question marks than answers, even though they're 2-1 and they won tonight. Okay. I still have things that need to be cleared up for me before I feel better about this football team.
Yeah, exactly. With you on that. So, we're going to find out, season, but the main thing is, again, can you imagine if that one got away too? And here they were 1-2 with 2 home losses, and now a loss to, as you said, to a Steelers team that I'm not sure is going to be able to keep that Mike Tomlin 500 or better for 16 years as a head coach intact. But Again, so yeah, you can put that behind as a W and go forth, but many things that got to get better for the Browns if they're going to continue to get better and be a factor in the AFC.
Reg, offensively, I thought Jacoby Brissett showed you who he is, what he can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a big quarterback. Quarterback sneaks, first downs. He doesn't turn the ball over. He took a couple of sacks. That's fine. One late in the game. Fine. Kept the clock running. Short controlled passing game. Steelers playing a lot of zone tonight. So find the open spots in the zone because they don't have TJ Watt. They can't create the same pressure that they normally do. So I thought he did a nice job. Amari Cooper had a pretty solid game. Had a drop that was costly at one point in the game, but for the most part, did a nice job. Did run out of bounds and come back in on another play where he got penalized. You know, he's got to know better than that. David Njoku, hey, took him 3 games, but they involved the Chief in the offense. And
he showed up.
Getting their $56 million worth tonight. Right. And he caught a touchdown pass and made some plays tonight. So that was good to see too. So the strength of the offense, Michael, offensive line, running the football, short controlled passing game. Mm-hmm. And Brissett doesn't take many chances, but he also doesn't turn it over. And that's what you're going to live with for these 11 games that Watson is out.
That's exactly right. And you know where I am going to give Jacoby Brissett a lot of kudos, Kenny?
Where's that?
When the Browns are in the red zone, he spun 2 touchdown darts tonight.
Yeah.
To Njoku and Cooper. I mean, just ripped 2 throws. They were in the red zone, but as you know, this is what he is as a quarterback. Is he I don't know. Is he one of the best backup quarterbacks in the National Football League? Yeah, all right, I'll go there with you. Again, still a lot to be proven because remember now he's still got, one would imagine, he's got at least 8 more football games he's going to start here. So we'll see where they are when that time comes in game number 12. But for the time being, Kenny, I like his work in the red zone better than I do, throughout other areas of the football field. Because, again, he rips the ball well. And I'll say he makes good decisions in the red zone. And that's a thing he's going to have to continue to stay with. And but the Browns, overall, you said it a few minutes ago. Look now, let's not lose sight of what the identity of this offense is, right? It is the run game. So you got Jack Conklin back behind, arguably a top 10 offensive line in the NFL. So you take advantage of that offensive line that can get people moved at the point of attack, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And that's what you are. That's what your identity is. You got to throw the football in the NFL. We understand that, but let's not lose sight of Kenny. I couldn't believe that the 3rd and 1 call, and early first the play call is to throw the football. I just dumbfounded by that. Those are the type of things where, and overall, again, Kevin Stefanski, had a solid play calling game tonight, but those are the kind of things, to me, that's just going away from what your strength is. Why would anybody want to do that? I don't get it.
Try to outsmart everybody, right? To show everybody how clever you are and everything. And just get the first down and move the chains and keep the drive alive. That for me is the biggest thing. And Stefanski still needs to work on that. Let's do this, Michael. Let's get a break in here on the Reghi and Roda podcast brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. And then we'll come back and we'll take a look at special teams because we need to. A couple of more miscues tonight on special teams, some injuries to talk about and how they might impact this team moving forward. Don't know the nature of them, but we'll dive into that and then look ahead to their next matchup, which is 10 days away, a week from this Sunday when they take on the Atlanta Falcons. We'll get into all of that and much more when the R&R podcast continues right here on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm Gary, and we love ball cards.
And if you love ball cards too, good news. You just found your new favorite podcast. From breaks to grading.
And from collecting to flipping, join us on the Ball Card Show.
The sports podcast for the sports collector.
And we continue with the Reghi and Roda podcast right here on the Press Play Podcast Network, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday evening with a 6 p.m. post time. Wager and win daily on top thoroughbred and harness tracks from around the world, with action starting around noon. Plus, enter to play the free handicapping contest every Sunday for a chance to win some cold, hard cash, $500 to be exact. Registration begins at 11 a.m. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. And if you win that cold, hard cash, you feel good. Well, the Browns, Michael, feeling good tonight, even though it wasn't picture perfect. It's still a win. It's a divisional win. It's a home win. They're now 2 wins and 1 loss on the season and get 10 days to heal up, correct mistakes, and get ready for the woeful Atlanta Falcons. And 3-1 is the goal, Michael, through the first 4 games. We said that had to be worst case scenario, 3-1 based on who they were playing. And now they have a chance to achieve that with the win tonight and then heading into Atlanta.
Yeah, they're on track to do that, and that's exactly what is 100% necessary right now. You got to go on the road, so now they've had 2 at home, and you get a chance to go on the road again for the first time since seeing Carolina in the opener. So, yeah, I mean, this is a football team that's got time now, Kenny, to get some things squared away, as we said. But to me, aren't we looking for this team, though, to just continue to show steady improvement week by week by week? No, we sure know that this schedule is going to start to really get tough now as we go on here. But that's why, again, an Atlanta football team that is eminently beatable, and we hope that, I'm sure Stefanski is going to give the players a couple of days off, and then they'll get back at it probably with, maybe a coming back in Sunday practice, Monday possibly, and get ready for Atlanta. But, these are type of games that, we said, 3-1. So it's one that's going to be very, very important for the Browns to play well in.
Injuries that occurred in this game. Let's see here. I put them on my phone so we would have them here. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah looks like a groin or a quad injury for him. He did not return tonight, Michael. Also going down, Anthony Walker Jr. He went down with an injury, was carted off the field. They're saying that's a knee injury. So not sure the extent of that. What else do I have here down? Taven Bryan also injured. He did not return tonight. So that's 1, 2, 3 key players on the defensive side of the ball that they lost. And we'll find out more in the not too distant future. And also not playing tonight from the get-go with Jadeveon Clowney, who was missed mightily in the pass rush tonight. We saw that. When he wasn't in there, Myles Garrett was not a major factor in this game tonight in the pass rush, although the Steelers were trying to get rid of the ball quickly still. So 4 key players that are questionable after tonight's win, but they have a long time to heal possibly and come back for the Atlanta game.
Well, yeah, and it's Kenny, and I said this I think last week, and I know you agree. Listen, the Browns defensively, they kind of do things by mixing and matching, and to me, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, when he's back, from this injury. Denzel Ward, John Johnson. These are the guys that gotta carry this thing, Kenny. Have that lunch pail with them every week. Those are the guys that got to make plays for this defense. And quite honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of that from those guys I just mentioned so far. So they're impactful, Ken, right? Impactful. Yep. Those are the guys that are going to have to make plays. And I know, if you want to do the, I'm going to call it an excuse thing and say, well, Myles Garrett's getting double teamed every time. No, he's not. No, he's not getting double teamed all the time.
Not every play, no.
No, does he get a lot? Of course he gets a lot of attention, but there again, if Myles has got to find a way to really start to impact games. And he's your top defensive player. When Jadeveon Clowney gets back, sure, as we saw last year. Clowney had 10 sacks on the year, didn't he, to go along with Garrett's what?
I believe so, yeah.
14 or 15?
16 for Garrett, yeah.
And Clowney had 10, I believe. So they need Clowney to get healthy and be back on this defense. But, yeah, Ken, I've got concerns defensively. They, you got to have your main men taking care of some business. And really yet the Browns haven't had that happen in the first 3 football games.
Now, it'll look from a distance, or if you just look at the box score, like Denzel Ward with the fumble return for a touchdown. Looks like he had a great game. I need more out of him, too.
Yeah,
he's a $100 million man, just like Myles Garrett is. So I need more big plays, solid plays, communication plays out of Denzel Ward to be the lead. I don't need Grant Delpit to be the lead, John Johnson to be the leader of that secondary. No, the leader should be the $100 million man, Denzel Ward.
Supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to happen. You consider him your best talent in that secondary. So again, it's the same thing with Myles Garrett. And now you got a couple of linebackers down, and you could say, well, but let me tell you what. I like JOK, Kenny. I think the kid's and going to continue to get better and be an outstanding football player. He's already shown some signs of that he really gets it. He understands it and has a skill set to be able to, make some strong impact for this defense. So, but you got your main guys. Again, the main guys have got to make sure every week that they're making things happen.
All right, I'm quickly trying to do the numbers on Jacoby Brissett through the first 3 games, Michael, as we tape this Reghi and Roda podcast immediately after the Browns' 29-17 victory over the Steelers. He threw for 220 in the week 1 win against Carolina, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He comes back last week in a loss to the Jets, throws for 229, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he finishes tonight going for 220 yards. So if you do the math,
in there, that's 670, right around that.
Yeah. So when you look at those numbers for me, right, 669 in 3 games, so 220 yards a game for Jacoby. I'm okay with that because that's who he is. I don't want him to try and be something he's not. Yeah. Okay. He needs to be who he is. Do your job, Bill Belichick says, right? Mm-hmm. And his job is to throw for around 200. Maybe 2 touchdowns if it's a good night, 1, if it's just an average night, and not turn the ball over. So that's far, right. Let's see, I believe it's 2, 4, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception through the first 3 games.
That's fine. Very doable. And, again, I don't want to throw that game manager term out because to me, it's, quarterbacks, I like quarterbacks that are so much more. And then, normally I'd say, I want my quarterback to be a swashbuckling guy and take some chances.
Right.
That does not apply to Jacoby Brissett. It's just fine with what he's doing right now. Take care of the football is the main thing for him. And that 5-1 touchdown pick ratio through 3 football games, that's nice. That's nice. I hope it stays in that area, Kenny. I mean, if he does play 11 football games, then let's see, he's somewhere around, 18 touchdown passes to 4 or 5 picks.
Yeah.
I think the Browns will be in pretty good shape.
All right. I was off on a couple of numbers. 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception. I gave him way too many yards in the Carolina game. So let me redo the math on him. 16 carrier 1, 5, 7, 9. So 596 yards. So he's averaging about 200 yards a game, Reg. Okay.
Yep.
4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So bad math in a hurry. But still, he's 2-1. The most important stats could be 3-0, but the pressure was on him with 22 seconds left and a timeout, and he threw a costly pick. They didn't get a chance for a long game-winning field goal last week against the Jets. But if he continues to throw, like we said, for around 200, very rarely throw an interception, value the football, you'll be okay with that as long as they continue to do what they do best, and that's run the football. Mm-hmm. And in the last 2 games combined, about 350 yards rushing. And to me, that's the key to this football team on offense.
Well, there's no question about that. And, Kenny, I'm not saying that it's like one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? I know what's going to happen,
right?
Where there's a day where, again, maybe Nick Chubb is, got about, let's say, 17 carries for about 40, 45 yards. And the Browns are and maybe they're trailing and they're going to have to throw the football then, right? And come from behind in the fourth quarter. It's going to happen. You say, well, love to see it if it didn't happen. Sure, love to see that. But that's, there's a better chance that is going to happen. And then we'll see how Jacoby Brissett fares there, Kenny. Again, does he maintain his calm and maintain his cool? Like I said, to me, there's 32 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League, right?
Yep.
I'm sure some teams would, well, I'd rather have Brissett than the guy I got. And that could be. There's a few. But I think we agree he's looked upon as one of the, let's say, the top 3-4 backup QBs in the NFL, which means that an offense doesn't fall apart when you have to play them, and that he can keep your team where they need to be record-wise, meaning he can win some football games with him starting. And that's, again, I don't want to see the Browns have to get away from their identity. They shouldn't, but there are some positive signs that you're seeing with Brissett. Like I said, for me, I like the way that he's making his decisions in the red zone, because he he spun a couple of darts for touchdowns tonight in the red zone into the end zone to both Njoku and Cooper. Like seeing that.
He's only been sacked 4 times in the first 3 games, Michael. Completion percentage at 66%.
Real good.
For Jacoby Brissett. Right?
Real good.
That's outstanding. Yeah.
That's very positive. Yeah. Hope he can keep it up. And the Browns can run the football well enough that, Brissett doesn't have to feel like I got to go win this football game for us.
All right, let's get to special teams, Michael. Okay.
Yeah.
Last week, fake punt for a first down, missed extra point, extremely costly. Onside kick, not recovered. Jets win the game. Tonight, another extra point missed. A punt tipped early on in the game, right? That gave the Steelers great field position. Could have been a major game changer, but the Steelers offense sucks so bad. They miss a 50-yard field goal out of it, and that was a stupid decision by Mike Tomlin with the winds that were blowing tonight at the stadium to let his kicker try a 50-yard field goal. And the Browns actually capitalized on their poor special teams play by going down and scoring after the missed field goal. And then late in the game, another onside kick, Michael, that Donovan Peoples-Jones whiffed on. But luckily for them, it took a bounce and went out of bounds. How much of this do you put on Mike Prefer? And is that a position, as far as the coaching positions go, that Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry need to look at during these 10 days to see if they want to make a change there?
Well, I've always been a big believer that, special teams, when they're at their best, they can win a football game or 2 for you, Kenny. And conversely, they can lose a football game for you or 2. So if I'm Prefer, I'm starting to really take a look at everybody that you have out there. on that special teams unit, because so far, Kenny, it has been subpar in totality, right?
Right.
And again, can you imagine if you just don't want that. When you lose a game specifically because of special team snafus, Kenny, that's a killer. That's like somebody just cutting your jugular, right? It's you can't have that in the National Football League. So Prefer's got to find a way. And if it's personnel that is a problem, then like I said, he's going to have to be the one that figures that out and get it done, because his job could be riding on that, whether it is or isn't gotten taken care of.
All right, real quick recap of the numbers. Browns, the most important numbers, they win 29-17, late fumble recovery by Denzel Ward. That is probably going to piss off some people who bet the under on this one, possibly. I'm
what
not sure.
Was it?
I think it was around 39 or 40, Red. So it all depends what it was when you got it. But that definitely put it over at 46.
Sure. Yeah.
And the Browns also cover, I think 4.5, 5 is what I saw there. So they would have covered either way, but still 29-17, the final there. Jacoby Brissett, 21 of 31, 220, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Those touchdown passes, one going to, let's see here, Amari Cooper, and the other 2, David Njoku, 2 straight games, Cooper over 100 yards. And of course, the workhorse, the best running back in the NFL, Nick Chubb, 23 carries, 113 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and another touchdown for Mr. Chubb. So he continues to show you why you and I both believe he's the best player on this football team and the top running back in the NFL.
Without a doubt. Yes. Yeah. Without a doubt. Top 3 running back. That's all, what you like. But he's the best player on this football team. It's bar none, bar mud. Not even close.
I'm with you 100% on that. Then you can start talking about Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward after him. So those are the top 3. So that's 3 games in, 2-1, which means they are in first place no matter what else happens this weekend in the AFC North, the division they have never won since it became the AFC North. Their last division crown, I believe, was either 88 or 89 when it was the AFC Central.
Central, right?
Yeah. So Baltimore and Cincinnati will play this weekend. Cincinnati's 0-2, so they won't tie you for first place. Baltimore has a chance to tie you. There's a possibility you're all alone in first place at the end of this weekend, Michael, at 2-1, despite the Jets debacle. And you've got a cupcake, at least we think so, or it looks that way, next week in Atlanta. But isn't next week, based on, like you said, there's only 17 of these and some are easier than others. Yeah, they're all hard, but some are a little bit easier. You've got to be 3-1 after next week's game against Atlanta, don't you?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I watched Atlanta last week and, they were down. They were down 4 touchdowns to the LA Rams. And then, the Rams kind of pulled as happens a lot in the NFL, Ken, as we know, the Rams got a punt blocked, like we were talking about, got a punt block. Cooper Kupp, of all people, caught a pass and was running with it and got stripped. And lo and behold, Atlanta turned those 2 things, down 28, into a couple of touchdowns and got all the way back to within 7. And, before they finally realized they were the Atlanta Falcons, I guess. But you can't take anybody for granted. You can't take anybody lightly. It's in Atlanta, so the Browns got to go down there. And bottom line is they got to come back home on that flight, 3 wins and 1 loss.
Yep. So that's what's in store for them next. We'll see what the injuries are to Anthony Walker Jr. They're saying sprained knee. Have an MRI tomorrow on that. Don't know the severity of the injuries to JOK and Taven Bryan. We'll see where Jadeveon Clowney is in 10 days, if that ankle will heal. Maybe they sat him out thinking that would be the best thing to get him back for that game, but it showed that they need him tonight. Alex Wright, I think, started the rookie, right? Isn't Wright one of the rookies? They started at the other defensive end.
Yes.
He's not ready for that, but he had to because of injury. So
right. Correct.
That's just something that because of injury on a short week that they had to have that happen. And the Browns get the win. Bottom line is we would have really torched them had they lost this game somehow, some way, right? They didn't. They won the game on a short week. The Jets game now can really be put in the rear view mirror. They're 2-1, and Atlanta it's on to Atlanta, as Bill Belichick likes to say.
Yeah, it's on to Atlanta, and there's still a lot of things to clean up. They've got a few extra days now to do that, Kenny. And again, now they got to go on the road and try to go to 2-0. So if you can go to 2-0 against that NFC South, having already beat Carolina, and now, back that up with a win in Atlanta. If that takes place, and we're talking about that a week from Sunday when we do our R&R post game, then 3-1. Well, that's probably where we honestly figured they would be anyway, or certainly believe they should be. And so we'll see if they can make that reality.
All right, Reg, before we get out of here, though, let's give some love. Let's give some love to the Cleveland Guardians, who tonight, while the Browns were beating the Steelers 29-17, okay, the Guardians completed the 3-game sweep and put the nails in the coffin for the Chicago White Sox, as Shane Bieber went out through, I believe, 8 innings, seven or 8 innings, whatever it was. He went at least 7, 2-run ball. They win 4-2. They sweep the White Sox. The magic number is 5 with 12 left to play. That means any combination of a Guardians win and a White Sox loss, you reduce it by 1 for each of those. So 5's the magic number, Reg. And guess what? They got 12 games left. 3 are on the road at Texas, and then they close it out 3 at home with Tampa Bay, and then 6 at home with Kansas City. I don't think they will pull a Cleveland Browns against the Jets and, fumble that lead away that they have right now over the White Sox. So I feel good in saying that I believe the Cleveland Guardians will be the Central Division champions in the American League and make the playoffs in a year that I thought they had no chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, quite a ride, no question about it. And Kenny, you and I have been together in some way, shape, or form, and broadcasting Cleveland sports going back to the 90s. So we know there's nothing like October baseball, man.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like October baseball, playoff baseball, kind of days like it was today. Temperatures at night get down into the 50s, and the only thing, I don't know, I was going to say in a full ballpark, I wouldn't bet my life savings.
You know what? Playoffs, maybe.
I would hope so.
Maybe they get a full ballpark.
We shouldn't
right?
even have to bring that up, though. But no, here I've been to the last some crowds here in September. 9,000, 11. It's like, oh my God, oh my God. Let's hope that October baseball, though, brings the baseball fans out wanting to root for the Guardians and seeing them. Kenny, I think it's I tell you, the one matchup though that Seattle bothers me. I wouldn't tell you that I'm not 100% sure that the Guardians can beat Seattle.
Here's the way I'm looking at it. Anything after the regular season is house money for me. So
agreed.
If they were to lose to Seattle, I didn't expect them to even play Seattle.
I understand.
So I'll take them. And by the way, tonight, Bieber's 7 2/3 innings. He's now 12-8 on the year. The Ernie's down to 281. Emmanuel Clase, 37th save out of 41 tries. Not too bad. Jose Ramirez with 2 more ribbies tonight. That's 117 for him.
Hell of a year, man.
And 83 and 67, a season high 16 games over 500 and dominating the AL Central since the All-Star break, and especially August and September, Michael. So kudos to Terry Francona, who in my opinion has done his best managerial job in the 10 years that he's been here, as they lead the White Sox by 7 and Minnesota by 10 after taking, you ready for this? 7 out of 8 from those 2 teams over the past 8 games. How about that?
Winning at the right time and, putting your foot right on their throats and taking them out of any thought that they can be in postseason play. So, it's, I think I know I picked them at 80 and 82.
Right.
I think you were 78 or 70.
I had them at 75, Reg, 75 and 87. So they've far surpassed my expectations. And by winning tonight, it guarantees them Well, actually, yesterday guaranteed them a winning season. So,
Right.
this is going to be a lot of fun. We're doing our Kenny and JT show on WHBC Tuesday at the ballpark, keeping our
Nice.
fingers crossed that might be the night that they clinch the division.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
we'll
cool.
see. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So congratulations to the Indians/Guardians, depending on what you want to call them at this point. Call them AL Central champs, regardless of what their nickname is, hopefully in a few days. All right, Reg, that's going to do it for the Reghi and Roda podcast. Browns a winner tonight, 29-17 over the Pittsburgh Steelers to improve to 2-1. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons. And that's when you and I will get together again, do a little post-game recap of that Falcons game next Sunday night. All right, Reg?
I always look forward to it, my man. Talk to you then.
Sounds great. Thanks to Chase Smith for producing this
Way to go,
tonight here
Chase.
on the Press Play Podcast Network. Enjoy your Victory Friday, Browns fans, and we'll talk to you real soon.